What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Ragnar from Helfró. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Hey Alex, thank you for having me. Nice to be with you here.
Yep, it's so good to be able to talk to you today. So you have your self-titled album coming out fairly soon. Do you just want to talk about like how the making of this record was and the recording and all that fun stuff?
Sure. Well, I've always been a drummer, and I was drumming for my death metal band, Ophidia and I, and we have been recording an album, and during the recording process back in 2016, everything ground to a halt when one of our guitarists got sick, so I found myself just with a lot of free time, not playing the drums at all or anything, and I started to use that time to finally let out some of my own creative ideas. You know, as a drummer, I'm just constantly drumming along to somebody else's work, and yeah, so after just a few months of uncertainty, and it didn't look like we were going to continue with that album for a while, I just started to write down my own ideas for music, and I went in a totally different direction, because as I said, it was a technical death metal band, but I love both death metal and black metal, so in this case I just wanted to write some black metal. That's basically it.
Yeah. Was that so? There was kind of like maybe an underlying preconceived idea for how you wanted this album to sound in a way.
It was very aimless in the beginning. I mean, I was just writing down riffs, and I certainly didn't have a vision in the beginning or anything. You know, I didn't ever think I was gonna eventually record this material. First, it was just riffs and ideas, and then I assembled them into a song, and yeah, so the whole journey has been kind of, I've been in the driving seat blindfolded, if you know what I mean, so yeah, just later on when I had all this material ready, that's when I started thinking that it deserved to get recorded, and then I also thought I should pitch it to somebody, you know, because I was proud of what I wrote.
Yeah, you mentioned like you're a drummer primarily at heart, but like obviously, you know, you're taking, you're now doing the arrangement of the songwriting, you're writing riffs, you're taking the role of vocals as well. But depending on like the type of instrument that you're playing, is there maybe a similar creative energy that you channel into both drums and vocals and any type, or is it almost kind of like depending on the instrument, it's like a separate art altogether?
I think so. I think it's very different, and with drummers can also be very different. Some of them can be very well, I don't know how to describe it, but I think to be a good drummer, that means you have to be able to complement the music. You know, you have to be able to complement the riffs that have been written sometimes by somebody else, and that can be hard for some people. Sometimes they really want to be independent and they don't want to be told what to play. But yeah, when I'm drumming, I approach the whole thing just like, what will make this riff sound even heavier? When should I back off and just let the guitar leads really shine, and when should I add some insane fills to make this part more interesting? So it's totally different from when I'm just sitting down with the guitar and thinking, you know, what can I write that feels dark and evil and, you know, macabre, I guess. So yeah, I would say it's very different.
Yeah. In order to get like inspired to write, do you almost kind of like need to put yourself in a certain element in a certain time in order for inspiration to come, or do ideas for Helfró just come out of nowhere sometimes?
It's very different. I think all kinds of different settings create a song. I have sat down and decided to write something and come up with something that I like, but also I'll just literally be driving to work and something pops into my head and I sing it into the voice recorder of my phone and then later put it to paper. So there's no one special method. It's everything.
Now, you have the single out, Efitron, if I pronounce that right, but could this almost serve as like a clear representation of what the entire Helfró album is going to sound like in a way, or is this just kind of like the tip of the iceberg?
I think the album has a few different styles, but Efitron, and along with maybe a couple of other songs, are just very, very straight to the point, you know, really fast blast beats. Nothing technical going on or anything, just, yeah. And we have all the songs on there that are maybe a little bit more experimental, and I'm trying to create intensity from a different angle than just being as fast as possible. So I would say Avetrun, the single, is representative of some of the album, but there will also hopefully be some surprises in there when the whole thing drops.
Is there ever a time where maybe like a story or a concept could determine the outcome of the music? Like, could lyrics ever come first, or does music have to come first before you could come up with a storyline or something like that?
No, definitely. I have sometimes I'm thinking of a feeling or something that has happened to me or whatever, and I try to interpret it into musical form. So that can definitely happen. The fourth song on the album, Þrátt fyrir brennandi vilja, was definitely first. First I wrote some of the lyrics, and then I tried to write the music that would fit to it. So yeah, definitely it can go both ways.
Yeah. You ever worried you'll have like the best lyrics ever, but then they sometimes go like one syllable over or under the whole arrangement? Does that ever happen?
No. To be honest, like most of the lyrics I wrote literally 10 minutes before we recorded them, or I summoned Simon, the guitarist, to come over and record some vocals, and then I just procrastinated on writing the lyrics until I knew it was literally on its way from his house. So a lot of them are just really, really spur of the moment, and somehow I think it makes them very unfiltered. At the time when I wrote them and I'm recording them instantly, I thought like, wow, this is maybe a little bit cringy, but then later on I get used to it and I think, wow, this is honest, I didn't take time to figure out a way to make this as cool as possible. I'm just communicating what's going on in my head at the time, literally. And fortunately, I've read books and stuff for all my life, so I have I'm good at speaking Icelandic, if I can say it like that. So I don't have to really worry too much about. I don't even know how to put it. It comes very naturally. It just flows out.
Yeah. If you're writing the lyrics like 10 minutes before you're supposed to track it, I'd imagine maybe the pressure could also help influence that, right, or add fuel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just very intense, and I'm just trying to. Sometimes I'm not even thinking of a concept. I'm just writing what comes out of the pen, and then afterwards I realize what it's about. So it's very just fluid. It's just like a flow somehow. Just like when you're playing the music, you're not really thinking about what the sound you're creating. It just comes out of somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Now, one thing I found really unique, especially with not even just for your particular band, but for like black metal in general, is like, from looking at your photo shoot and looking at the music video for the new single and everything like that, are you almost kind of like portraying a character in Helfró in a way, or is this just a direct extension of who you are?
I would have to say that it's a portrayal of some character, or this person in the video is not who I am day to day. I'm very reserved. If you see me in the street, you would never guess that I'm into metal or black metal or anything. I really enjoy just when people just cannot really put their finger on what kind of person I am in day to day life. So yeah. And also, just because I've always been a drummer, like I said, I've never really had to be a frontman or portray or create the image or the atmosphere, really. So it's a first for me. So I definitely had to think about how I wanted everything to look and I couldn't just show up in my Adidas sweater for the video. I had to think about how I was going to present the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And is this like, so it almost seems like in order for if somebody really wants to get to know who you are, just simply listening to this Helfró record is almost kind of like a self-portrait in a way?
In a way, but for instance, the lyrics are not released with on the layout or anything, so I think I'm trying to hopefully just leave a lot of room for imagination too. Hopefully people can just interpret the music and some little parts of the lyrics that they can understand in their own way.
That's fair enough. You ready for the most difficult question of the interview?
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay. How do you know when a song is done?
Wow, yeah, that is difficult. Usually, I wrote the songs with a clear intent of not letting them become like 9-minute just droning on for the sake of repeating a riff because it's good. So I never wanted it to be more than 6 minutes max or something. So I know some of the music has like repeating choruses, but some of them are just the same riff never comes back. I don't know how I know, but sometimes you literally come up with an ending, something that just puts like a dot after the sentence, if I can put it like that. But sometimes you just feel like it's over. It's just like you're speaking a sentence and then the message is out, so you don't have to speak anymore.
Fair enough. That was a very concrete answer. I like it. And kind of going back to the last question I asked, because being a drummer this whole time before becoming a frontman, like, is this almost kind of like, are people going to be seeing a different side of you creatively than we'd never seen before?
I think so, yeah, definitely. I've kind of just been a little bit unconscious throughout my career as a drummer because I've been playing drums for years and years now, and I wouldn't say I've been in the backseat because of course the drummer has an important role to play, but like I said before, I've never had to come up with a visual atmosphere or ideas for that, so this is all brand new. So I would say it's a totally different side to me than when I'm playing just the drums in a band.
Yeah. Did the vision of how you want to like portray yourself for this album come after you've had all the music written in a way, or did they kind of happen simultaneously?
No, it came after definitely, because at first when I started to record the album, I didn't even have any plans to get it formally released. I was just recording it to maybe just put it out there on the internet and just leave it be. So there were no photo shoots even or anything until after we signed with Seasonal Mist, and that was just like a spur of the moment thing to get signed with them. They were the first ones I contacted, and after that then came the whole idea that I had to create an image now, because it was just going to be a logo and the songs and nothing else really. So yeah, everything got created after all of the music was written.
Fair enough. And the final question I wanted to ask you is coming from Iceland, because I've interviewed the band Unmizir before.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and I know that Solstafir has been killing it right now. I'd imagine that there's a really good metal, it seems like there's a great thriving metal scene in Iceland that you're very active in, right?
That's right, the scene is great, and the grassroots are strong, but me personally, I'm quite distanced from it. I haven't really gone to any live shows here in about 5 years, and I've just been very busy. I have other hobbies that take up really, really large amount of time, and I'm quite disconnected from it, to be fair. I'm quite isolated here. I live in a small town just outside of Reykjavik, but I know some of the perpetrators who have been active for years and years, but a lot of the newer bands I don't know at all, and to be very honest, I don't check out most of them. I'm very stuck in my old musical palette. I just listen to the same shit that I've been listening to for years. So.
That's fair enough. You mentioned that you have other creative hobbies that you're into, and I know that you said you're influenced by literature. Is there other creative outlets that you work in as well?
I wouldn't call them creative outlets, but I'm a big motorsports fan, and I've been co-driver for rally driving, and yeah, I'm working on cars and stuff like that in my free time as well, so that takes just a lot of time and money sometimes.
What is it with drummers and working with cars? I've noticed it's like a common correlation.
Well, I like to go really fast on the drums, so I think there's a connection there. I like to go fast when I drive too.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
And in order to make a car drive very fast, you have to assemble it very well the same way if you're, I guess, playing on a drum set fast as well, so I guess there's a technical aspect behind it.
Yeah, it might be something like that, but generally drummers tend to be a little bit of nerds, and I'm no exception to that rule.
Fair enough. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time. Just the self-titled album is scheduled to come out later this year. Is there just anything else with Helfró that you would like to promote during this age of quarantine that we're living in?
No, just buy the album. There was a lot of work that went into the artwork and the layout, and I'm very proud of it. I think it will be just a nice addition to anyone's music library. And after that, just check out more Icelandic metal. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Are you planning on bringing this live anytime soon? Could we be expecting maybe any gigs when this whole shit clears up, or?
No, there are no plans for that at the moment. I'm open to the idea at some level, but I'm not actively planning it in any way.
Okay. Talk about making a mysterious project. I love it. Yeah. But thank you so much, Ragnar. Everybody, we are here with Ragnar of Helfró. Be sure to pick up the new self-titled record when it comes out on April 24th via Season of Mist, and we'll see you next time on Heavy New York.